Welcome to the Homeschool High School podcast, brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. I'm Vicki, and by request, we're going to talk about how to write an outstanding college application essay. All right, so as you may have noticed, if you've got a teen that's looking at colleges, very many colleges require an essay as part of the application process. So let's talk about that essay today. So in context, when teens apply to college, a lot of colleges these days, most colleges will use the Common Application. So it's the Common App. And it's for, if you're a newbie to this, it's one application that goes to all the colleges of your choice. And so you streamline your efforts by doing this one time. So on that application, you'll have your transcript, you'll have references, you'll have your extracurriculars and awards and all the things that you've done in high school. And also you will answer some essay prompts. Some teens who are going off to college will be going to a college that doesn't use the Common App. And so you will check their website to see what they require. And not every college requires an essay. Some of them make it optional. If it's optional, we recommend you write one because it gives a chance for the college to get to know you. It is a way to kind of stand out and sparkle. So if there are, 1,000 students applying for 500 openings, you want to be one of those 500, right? Another of the big applications is the application for the HBCUs. And so I'll put links to all these in the comment section and show notes. And so that application does not require an essay. However, some HBCUs do require an essay. And so that is kind of on the student to find that out. So whatever you do, you always check the college website and see what they are looking for. Okay. All right. So generally, let's describe these essays. So, your teens have probably been writing essays, all through high school. And so this is just taking the essay pressure up just a little bit. So most of the times colleges are looking for a Common App essay or HBCU essay if they want one at one of those colleges, or an independent college are usually looking for an essay between 250 and 600 words. So if you think, a paragraph might be around 100 words, then you're looking at anything as short as a couple, 2 or 3 paragraphs, up to, 6 or 7. So, and again, that's a big range between 250 and 600. If you think about it, you probably want to be closer to that 650, but definitely do not go over. So that's where your great editing comes in. All right, so we got an essay. Now, what will happen is if your teen is applying to college through the Common Application, you will look up their essay prompts. So they will give you a choice of several essay prompts, and you will choose one of those to write your essay about. If you are looking at an independent college or an HBCU, on their websites, they will give you some choices of an essay topic. So you're not pulling something out of the clear blue sky, because they want to be able to let you shine in an essay and really tell about yourself, but also to be comparable to other students who are writing about that same thing. Because, in some colleges, and most colleges, you're competing with other students to get into that college and or to get scholarships. So you want to do this the way they want you to. Okay. All right. So, it's between 250 and 650 words, and you're going to aim closer towards that 650. Now you don't fill with wasted space, but you want to, use as much of those words as you can. So currently, the common application essay prompts include one of the topic prompts is some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. Another prompt is, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to success later on. Recount a time when you experienced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from that experience? Another one is discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself and others. And then their last choice, and there's 7 topic prompts you can choose from. The last one is share on an essay topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, but that responds to a different prompt or one of your own design. So if you have such a cool topic and it's not one of these questions, on the Common App currently, you are allowed to come up with your own outstanding prompt. So anyway, all right. So you notice that you have a set of prompts to choose from. All right. And you know that you're working between 250 and 650 words. All right. So now I want to give you and the teens a couple of really important tips. All right. One is start early. All right. So I know teens, if they have been writing essays in high school, they're used to it. And in fact, they are used to writing timed essays if they've been using Seven Sisters Homeschool curriculum or a lot of the other ones out there, is they will have had practice in writing timed essay where you are given a prompt and you are cranking something out. All right. So not essays are timed. And if they're not timed, that means you want to make it timeless. In other words, really good. All right, so you want to start early. What we often tell the teens is find out what the essay prompts, choose your prompt, and write that essay in the summertime if you can. Like take August and just kind of plug along on it, or at least start on it, when the school year starts. So whenever your co-ops kick back in, and you have a few minutes in between, doing other homework things, start plugging along on the essay and give yourself time to work on it. Because to really turn to a really important piece of writing, you want to have time to get your ideas on the paper and do several different drafts of it and kind of wrestle with things and with wording. So you want to give yourself time. That is not cheesy. For teens who say, I work better under pressure, well, put the pressure on yourself to do it early. So it's a mindset. All right. The second thing is you've got to be sure to submit your own work. And these days, in the world of AI, the world of you can buy essays offline, on websites. You can get your best friend to write it for you. There are all kinds of ways to skirt writing the essay yourself. Guess what? What you want that is that admissions officer that is reading your essay to know you and your voice. You want them to get a glimpse of who you are. So it's not like the essay isn't, you're not writing to a rubric for this essay. They're not going to, check down, did they get all the grammar and punctuations and are the sentence links appropriate and all that. That's not what they're looking for. I mean, they want to see well done work. What they're trying to figure out is who you are. So the prompts are there to help you shine. AI can't shine for you, and your best friend can't shine for you, and the website you buy essays from can't shine for you. And when you read things that come from someone else, it is always a little bit stilted. It can't show who you are. So the admissions officers have read so many essays. They know which ones are from an actual student or not. But what if you do this, like correctly punctuated, the grammar's nice, a rubric would make it look good. Boring essay that really does not give a glimpse to you, and you are competing with somebody else for a slot for admissions or a scholarship at that college. Well, guess what? The one that really wrote from their heart, that really lets a sparkle shine through, they're the one that gets in. Does that make sense? So do it yourself. All right. So start early, do your own work, be honest. All right. So number 3 is be honest. You don't want to seem over the top. Don't embellish what you've accomplished. That's like sounding narcissistic is not going to give you favor with admissions officers. So, like you're a real human being. You're only presenting a real human being's experiences. So just keep it authentic. Okay. All right. Next is remember the power of telling a good story. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about this. You are going to tell a story. You're going to tell a story about you in the form of an essay, answering one of those essay prompts. So, all right, and one of the things I've noticed with homeschoolers over the years, when I have read oodles and oodles of college application essays before students, did their final drafts, a lot of them have had trouble talking about themselves in a way that really sparkles, like highlights a big learning or a big achievement. And so early on I would ask them, so you're not really talking about yourself. You're kind of talking lightly, you're talking around, so this is not really about you. And they would say to me almost universally, well, we're not supposed to think of ourselves more highly than we ought. We're not supposed to be prideful because, the Bible says not to do that. And so I always help them understand the difference between pride, being a prideful person, thinking about them too highly, and being an honest person. There are experiences that your teens have had that would make a good essay topic. And so those are real life experiences that they don't need to be bragging about, but they need to tell that story. And in telling that story, really, it does give glory to God, unless they're saying something like, I'm all that, and you got to get me in the college because you need me. That sounds a little prideful. But if you're telling a real story about you or a real accomplishment about you, in a way that is honest and interesting, that is not prideful. That is actually, God helped you do that. That gives some glory to God. Does that make sense? Okay. So sometimes teens really need to hear that. All right. So by the way, Seven Sisters Homeschool.com has a college application essay writing guide. And so for our teens who are seniors, we just give them this guide and say, this is going to help you write the essay. So let's just use it. So it's nice when you have like, here's a how-to. And I'll put links in the show notes to that. All right. So also, when you think about especially teens who are applying to an HBCU, there are some things that they're going to want to see in those essays. And, for anybody applying anywhere, these are probably really good tips. So one that HBCUs are looking for is personal experiences. All of them need that. So we're talking about events, people, activities, things, experiences that have shaped who you are and shaped who you are in your community. And so you want to keep that in mind, and all essays need that, right? Also, even more than the Common App, HBCUs that are looking for an application essay will also want to hear about your aspirations. So integrate that into your story, because your aspirations, the goals that you have, the hopes and dreams, the things that motivate you need to align with that HBCU's values and mission. So they want the right student fit for that particular college. I would say the same thing if you're applying to a Christian college or another private college. Really, really, anytime you can, if you're applying to an HBCU, see if you can integrate in some leadership skills or things that have taught you how to lead. We want to talk about teamwork, collaborativeness, service orientation. So those kinds of things that show you know how to get involved, and you know how to be an influencer, a mover, a shaker. You need how to work with a team. So you want to show those things. And definitely with HBCUs, you're going to tell a story. So all of those tips, even though those are specific for HBCUs, that would fit just about anywhere. Okay. All right. Then some tips for things to think about before you get started. Okay. Excuse me. Think carefully about writing on some topics. So some are very emotional or very worn out. So if it's something that is so hard for you to talk about that you can't do it without falling apart, maybe that's not the topic you want to write about, because you want to be able to enjoy the process. So if there's been a big trauma in your life and you're still healing from it, you don't have to write about that unless you feel, like healed enough that it's not going to cause you more pain to write this essay. So you don't have to worry about, I have to be the most authentic about the most dramatic thing in my life. No, you can choose something else. Okay. Also, if you're thinking about writing about, when your team won this important sports game. All right. So if you write that can sometimes be an overused accomplishment. So make sure you do, if you're going to write about that, you write about it in a very, this is my part as the team. So you emphasize the teamwork or the leadership things that you learned, and not make it too shallow. So, because it can be trite if you're too shallow. Don't just make a list of your accomplishments, like this is not a resume, this is a story. And so you're not doing bullet points here on, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this. So that's, if you've been writing essays, not to do that for an essay. You do it for a resume though, right? All right. Also highlight in there why you do what you do, those aspirations. What's your why? What's your why? So not just, this happened and I did this and I did that, but why, why'd you get involved in that? Why did you choose to do it that way? That those whys really give insight into who you are. All right. And then have some reflection towards the end. This is what I learned. This is how I'm applying it to life going forward. So it shows that you experience, you learn, you reflect, you incorporate that into life. So there's some things to think about as you get started. Okay. All right. So once you're ready, again, like I highly recommend Seven Sisters Homeschool's Essay Writing Guide. It's short, it's inexpensive, but it helps teens kind of plug through that process. All right. So once you get your ideas brainstormed out, and you throw things on a piece of paper and kind of just randomly, like I could think about this, I could talk about this, I think about that. When you get enough ideas, then you sit down and start writing either an outline or a rough draft, however you prefer to do, on an essay. When you get your rough draft, that's not your final. When you've done it through once and read it through once, made some basic corrections, that's still a rough draft. Next thing you do, I highly recommend you doing this, is let a couple of other people read that essay, like your parents, if you're in a co-op or an umbrella school, one of your teachers that teaches writing, have them read over it, a youth pastor or something like that. Like, have a couple of other people who are not you read over it and give suggestions. This is totally acceptable for a college application essay, totally acceptable. So it may not feel that way in other assignments, but for this, yes, okay? All right, as you write it, all right, first you're gonna do, all right, is to make sure that you answer these questions. So you get through, you're looking through. So do you really answer the essay prompt? So you ask yourself that, all right? Is this really showing who I am? Remember, you talk about yourself, okay? We're not bragging, we're just talking about yourself. And then, the basic construction. Again, we're not writing to a rubric, but you do want to show you know how to write, because they're expecting college level ability. So don't slop through this. Your paragraphs need the basic, they need topic sentence. Are there transitions between paragraphs? Is there just one topic on a paragraph? Run through, if you want to, use Grammarly and run your essay through that and make sure there aren't any grammar or spelling mistakes. Sometimes it helps checking grammar yourself if you read the essay backwards. So you read the last paragraph, then the middle paragraph, then the first paragraph. So you read it backwards, and that helps you kind of read it through different eyes, and you can see if there's any grammar or punctuation mistakes easily. All right. And then if you have somebody, and I highly recommend doing this, having someone read that essay, then you listen to their feedback, and as best you can, incorporate some of their ideas, as long as it stays authentic to what you're writing. All right, then we highly recommend you let that essay sit for a couple of days and then read it through again before you hit submit. All right, really, really important. So these are some of the basics that go in writing any kind of college application essay. And you will find, like I said, step-by-step information for getting teens through that college application writing essay process at Seven Sisters Homeschool. And I'll put links in the show notes and comment section, because your teens can do this. And, once they get that done, they feel really proud of themselves because they should. It is, it is a high pressure, big deal, but it can help colleges really see who they are. All right. If you got any questions, feel free to contact us. And especially, we love it when people put questions on the Seven Sisters Homeschool Facebook group, because there's lots of Seventh Sisters there. Those are, all of us in this together. And everybody loves to share ideas. We can learn so much from each other. That's what the homeschool community is about, right? All right. So this has been Homeschool High School Podcast, brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. And I just wish you all the best of the rest of this week. See you next week. Thanks again to Seth Tillman for editing and for Richie Soares for transcribing. Y'all have fun with this.